Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer, and today I'm gamesplaining Merv, the heart of the Silk Road. So in Merv, there is a whole bunch of stuff going on. Points are scored by multiple different ways, but the person with the highest score wins. However, these cards are quasi-hidden points. Everyone can see exactly what it is at, but you'd have to do some math to work that out. Otherwise, whoever has the highest point on the outside track is the winner at the end of the game. So how does this game run? What happens? On your turn, you're choosing one of the locations that's directly in front of you. What that location is talking about, let's say, for example, this player chooses that location. He then has a choice of each of these cards to go to. At the start of the game, he will just place his building on whichever of those card tiles he goes to. Let's say, for example, he went to that one. He would then do the thing, then the next person would take their turn. They might come over and do that one, and this person might go to here and do that one. I'll talk about what these tiles do in a moment, but let's talk through the basics first. Once that's all happened, red will then come to the back spot. He could, if he has camels, he could pay a camel to move forward. He could pay another camel to move another one forward, so he would actually go first. If that happened, yellow would go here and take this camel, or if they had a camel, they could pay an extra one to go there, forcing blue to go there, but blue would then have two camels, yellow would gain one extra camel. If, for example, they don't have any camels, they'll end up in that order, however. Now, if blue goes here, he can't add another house to that, but he will get the resource from that location. So it's worth his while to go there and maybe go there. So he'll get two different colored resources. Let's say, for example, around here, yellow may choose to go there, which would enable him to get those goods, but blue would also get the goods. So by yellow going there, he would gain an orange and an aqua cube, but blue would also gain those two cubes. The game goes until everyone's come round, so everyone's had 4 turns, at which point we're at the end of the year, we score, we then move that on. That happens 3 times. At the end of the 2nd and 3rd years, there is an attack from outside. That's the basics of the game. Let's now talk through what happens. So blue, for example, went here, which gained him one of these cubes. So you have 3 options. Either you can gain favor, which is moving along this track. Doesn't do anything here, but when you get to there, you gain 1 point, which will be tracked on the outside. Or you could put a soldier onto the building. I'll talk about why they are important in a moment. Or, and this is the majority of the time what you're going to do, you will do the action as depicted on the top right hand corner. So this particular spot is talking about the walls. He has 1 aqua cube, and he can spend that aqua cube to take 1 wall piece. You'll notice there's wall pieces are worth 1 or 2, depending on if they're all taken. These pieces are worth 3 cubes, but they go in there. Each wall piece defends 2 spots only. So if he were to put a wall here, these 2 spots are defended from that side, but they can still be attacked from this side. So just bear that in mind. If you have multiple cubes, you may wish to spend multiple times. These ones, which take those pieces, that now protects both of those. They can't be reached from either side, so that's why those ones are a little bit more expensive. If he were to have gone there, which would have gained him the orange cube, what he can now do is come over to this portion of the board. Notice the matching icons. He can place a market there, so spending that orange cube that he's just picked up to go there. He gains a camel. Spending that orange cube gains him one of those markers. If he had the resource, he could then spend a camel to get up to here, spend those 2 resources to gain one of these pieces. Once you've done all the purchasing stuff, this camel then comes off and goes over into this area. I'm deliberately not using the names for stuff because you'll get bogged down in terminology rather than this area. This area talks about here. If he took this action, which is that picture of the camels, we're talking about down here. So what can happen down here, let's just take that off for the moment, is you can pick up any number of these cards that you wish with a couple of rules. Either there's a camel on the card or it is the next card from a camel. If you don't wish to pick this card up but wish for that one, you could spend a camel to be able to get that card. There are four different types of spice along this road. You can only have, at the beginning of the game, one of those types of spice. Once you have moved along this track to here, you can get two different types of spice. To here for 3, to here for 4. So let's say he is at the beginning spot. He has the choice of taking any of these 3 or that one card. Each card that he takes will cost 1 resource. This one cannot be used. You must spend the same type of resource to take cards. So if he had 3 of that, that would allow him to take 3 of the cards. So he may take that card for 1 resource. He gets the camel. He's not allowed to touch these 2 because it's a different type. He can only go for those ones. So he could take that resource for the second cube. The next one available he can't touch. He can't get to that one unless there's a camel. So he could spend 1 of the camels on that to be able to take that with his third cube. What then happens is these all move to the front and we release new cards. What that does right now is for every 2 that he gets, he takes 1 of these and places it on a spot. So it's worthwhile putting it on his own one, for example there. If he wanted to place it here, he would have to lose the soldier. So if he places that there, what now happens when he actions that, instead of getting an orange cube, he's now going to get a white cube. What's the purpose of the white cubes? They can act as any color. It's basically a wild card color. With these cards, at the end of the game, if he only has the one type of card, he's getting 1 point per card. If he has 2 types of cards, he's getting 3 points for the pair. If he's 3 different types, he's getting 6 points. All 4 different types would get 10 points for every set of those that he has in front of him at the end of the game. If he chose there, which is the mosque tiles, which is that portion of the board, he would once again get the resource. So he's placed this here on a future round. He would actually be getting those 3 cubes. And what he can now do, because he's gone on this track, is he can spend those cubes. So he could spend that cube to move forward on this track. He gets that camel. He could then spend that cube to go to here, which gains him 1 of these and allows him to put it on any spot that he wishes. So he might put that there, which means he's going to get a white one whenever he goes on that spot. He can spend the white, assuming it's anything, sorry, you only use 1, to push forward to there, which allows him to do this action, which allows him to move forward on that track. And all the way up, there's different things for each element. I'm not going to go through all of them, but they add things or give you benefits. The next one up, however, does allow you to choose one of those and basically goes onto a spot that doesn't have a guy. So you might put that there, which means that whenever this one is actioned, he gets both cubes. And you get to choose which one out of that pile you wish. And this one, you get to choose one of these, which is going to give you 3 points per building type every time that we go to a scoring. This portion of the board down the bottom, which is that location just there, allows you to trade in resource cubes of different colors. So let's just imagine this was his resources that he had. He's only able to go 3 or 4 for a different color as well. Those 4 turn into scrolls, which he now has. As soon as he has 2 scrolls, he can get one of these cards and he can actually look through, not spend the scrolls, but have the scrolls, can look through and gain one of those, which gives a discount on one of the areas of the board. So he might take that one to start with. He spent 4, so he also gets to choose one of these, which allows you to choose one of the resource colors and use it as if it were any of the other resources. Then when you get 6, you can choose from that, and 8, you can choose from that. And there's different things that are in each of the piles. That one earns you a one-time boon, so these are one-off things, and this gives you a one-time benefit as well. If you took this action, that's the palace area. The palace consists of 4 halls and it allows you to put a meeple into one of the halls. It's going to cost you whatever the color of the square is on the bottom. So if that's what he had, he could spend that to go there. Notice the symbol he's just marked over, pushed him forward there, which gives him 2 more points. For him to put another guy into this space is going to cost him 2 of the colors, so he might do that, which once again pushes him forward there. He doesn't have any more cubes to be able to spend, but what that does is gives him points at the end of the round. So when we get to the end of the round, so everyone's got back to their end of the year, we are scoring. This guy is going to score 1 point for every scroll he has. He has 4 scrolls, so he would get 4 points. That would then reduce him by 1 favor. This one allows you to score 1 point for each guy that you have on the mosque track. So he has 1 guy over there, which would get him 1 point. If he had brought in other guys, then that would get him more points. That also moves him down on this track. But in future rounds, he can move back up and get those points again. If he was here, he would be getting 1 point for each of these cards that he has. So that would be worth 3 points for him to be there. If he was there, he'd be getting 1 point for each of these goods that he has, either blue or brown, so the rare goods or the non-rare goods. At the end of the second round, what's going to happen is there's an attack. At the moment, there aren't any walls. Let's say, for example, there are some walls like this. Each unprotected spot, so this one is totally protected, that one is going to get attacked, that one is still going to get attacked, even though these two look like they're protected, they're not, because you need to have 2 walls to protect them. This one is protected. All you need to do to protect your building, so let's say, for example, that this one was being attacked. To protect it, you just spend 1 of the resources that has. To protect this one, he would need to spend either of those 2 resources because it produces both. So he might protect it with that one. This one is not being protected because he doesn't have the resource to be able to protect it. If this one is attacked, which it would be, it doesn't matter what the original color underneath it was. You could spend any color of cube to protect that. That one's say not protected, this one's protected by the wall. Which now means this was an unprotected thing, so the house comes off. This one was unprotected, so his house would come off. These guys are all protected or paid for, and so they stay as they are for future rounds. And that attack will happen twice through the game, once there and once there, just before that scoring, and then we go to a final scoring, and that is game. The only other thing I haven't mentioned is these. These cards are something that you will gain when you have the appropriate stuff. So it will cost you 1 of the resource cubes. If you have 2 of the scrolls and 1 good, it doesn't matter if it's a blue or a red good, so a common good or an uncommon good, and you're up to here on that track. That's the one in the bottom of the card. You can put those goods onto this to say they are given to that card to get the points in the top and to get the soldier or to get the points along this track. The further up we go, the harder it is to get these cards. Notice this one will need 3 goods, 1 brown, 1 blue, and 1 of either, and you need to be up to here on that track. That is something that will happen at any point during your turn. It doesn't cost you to do that, it's just if you have the stuff, you can get the points. The one other element I didn't talk through is this one. That will give you one of those goods, but will cost you a camel. So if you have managed to pick up a camel from anywhere, you can, within the line, so if you're, say, putting your house here, you'll get a beige cube in. You can then place a camel on one of these 4 locations. If you place it there, that allows you to take one of the cards over on the side. There allows you to grab a scroll. There allows you to push up this track. There allows you to take one of the white cubes. On a future turn, if you take one of the center rows, you can choose, if you have a camel, to take one of the other benefits, or you can choose to take all the camels off there. So if that has happened a few times and you, say, place your guy here, you can action all the other 4 building types and then take all of the camels from that space. Look, I hope that this helps you get Merv to the table. Please go ahead and watch my gameplay to get a feel for how the game actually plays. If you have any comments or suggestions, please write them below. If you have any games that you would like to be Gamesplained, please shoot me an email to thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter @thegamesplainer to keep up to date with the games that I'm playing. Subscribe to my videos to keep up to date with the games that I'm gamesplaining. And until next time, enjoy gaming.